now. All right, welcome everybody to this week's edition of the Business Owners Mastermind Group. This call comes at you live every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. It's sponsored by the Rockland Chamber of Commerce and my company, which is John Pyron Coaching. And so it's a joint venture, and we decided to come together, create some great content for the members of the Rockland Chamber of Commerce. It's a joint venture for me because I have a huge podcast following, so it's a great way for me to record a podcast. So there's several different ways to get this call, but the first place I would like you to check is on the Rockland Chamber of Commerce website. And if you're not a member of the Rockland Chamber, highly recommend you join this chamber. I mean, unbelievable leadership, unbelievable people that are involved. And so I got together with them and we decided, hey, we're going to put together I'm going to do this mastermind call anyways. It's going to feed my podcast channel anyways. Might as well do it in my hometown of Rockland with the Rockland Chamber of Commerce. So all the business owners, and even if you're not a business owner, if you're a salesperson, if you are an employee, understand you are a business inside that person's business. And if you start treating yourself, your role as a business owner inside somebody else's business, several things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to make a whole lot more money because you're going to become a lot more valuable to the marketplace and to your employer. Number two, you're going to learn all the skills that you need to learn to hopefully someday go out and start your own business. Or if that's just not you, treat your job just like a business, and I guarantee you're going to get more responsibility from your employer. They're going to have a lot more respect for you, and they're going to ultimately pay you more. So on today's call, we're going to talk about running effective prospect appointments. The first call, we talked about how do you generate leads, and I gave, 8, 9, 10 different lead generation strategies on that call. So if you have not listened to that call, highly recommend you go back and listen to that call. The other thing that you can find it on is if you go up to iTunes and look up the 10X Business Owners Mastermind Group or 10X Business Owners Mastermind Group, that is my podcast channel. So you can always get the call there as well. So we learned how to generate leads. Now, the last week we learned how to set an appointment, how to literally take a lead, how to market to it, how to literally follow up with that person and set an appointment. This week, we now have the appointment. So what do we do? Now, over the last 28 years, for those of you that don't know who I am, and for those of you that have never heard me before, over the last 28 years, I've built 7 different companies. The very first one failed miserably because I hated sales. 1996, got over myself, hired my own mentor, went on to build $3 million businesses back to back and several 6-figure businesses. And I've coached thousands of salespeople, hundreds of business owners, and you're going to get this content for free today. So I want you to take this content and before, I will give you a word of caution, before you rip apart your current way that you run appointments, I want you to step back, look at the content I'm going to share with you today, look at what you're currently doing, and look at what I'm talking about and go, okay, how can I tweak my own appointment process to make it even more effective? And that's the purpose of this call. Where'd my water go? Hold on just a second. All right, get some water going on there. Okay. So prior to the appointment, and this is whether you're meeting with somebody to sell, a $10 item, or if you're meeting with somebody like I went out and closed a $480,000 deal for a client of mine last week. And it took a lot of preparation. And so a lot of my notes here that I have are stemming from, I still run appointments where I'm closing hundreds of thousands of dollars in one deal, but I also close on appointments that are $10. So it's all relative. And what I'm going to share today is exactly the steps that I go through, regardless of what type of an appointment. And I'll give you some ideas on what you can eliminate depending on the type of sale that you're doing. So number one is make sure I'm set up here. Okay. So number one is the pre-appointment. So now I've got the appointment. I've got the appointment set up a certain date and time. There are some things that I want to do before the appointment. Number one is I want to go to this person's social media. It has never been more easier to get to find something that you have in common. And these are the 3 C's that I go off of. Something that I have in common with that person, something that I can compliment them on, or something that I can comment on. We used to have to do this the old-fashioned way. We didn't have access to all this information ahead of time, so we had to get very good at showing up to the appointment and walking them through this process before we can even start selling or before we can even start running the appointment. And now with social media and all the information that's out there about an individual, we can do our research ahead of time. So what I do is I go and look them up on LinkedIn. I go and I look them up on Facebook. I look them up on Twitter. I look them up on Instagram, and whatever other social network out there that you're a big fan of, highly recommend you go and look them up on there. And I want to look at what they're posting on. What are the comments on? What are they interested in? What is their interest? And I'm looking for, do we have something in common? Is there something I can compliment them on? Is there something that we have in common? Here's the cool thing about LinkedIn or even Facebook, who do we have in common connection-wise? That's probably been the biggest game changer for me is I can go and meet with a CEO, and prior to meeting with that person, I can go and look them up on LinkedIn and go, hey, I noticed that you and Joe Smith are friends. Joe's a good friend of mine, man, And so instantly we have a common connection. And so take advantage of those social networks. Next is I do a Google search. I just simply type their name into Google. And what I'm looking for when I type their name into Google is, is this person reputable? Because it's either there's good stuff out there about them or there's bad stuff out there about them. And I don't know about you, but I don't have time to work with everybody on the planet, and I'm not interested in a prospect that's not a good fit. So I'm going to do the research ahead of time to make sure, even though I think they're a prospect, maybe after doing my research, I might find that they're not. But then again, in most of the cases, I find that they are a great prospect for me. And so, let's see here, boom. And so I do the Google search, okay? And I'm taking notes. Again, I'm looking for, do we have something in common, something I can compliment them on, something that, something like compliment, or that we have in common. Next, I go to the website. I digest the website. I can't tell you how many people I've seen show up to appointments, and the first question out of their mouth is, so, Joe, what is it that you guys do here? Wrong. Okay, you're done. Okay, so, and it usually happens when somebody's never been professionally trained. Well, if you're on this mastermind call, especially for the next, what are we at? This is the 3rd week. So over the next 9 weeks, the whole purpose of this 12-week series is to provide a platform where I can professionally train each and every one of you business owners how to sell. Okay, how to overcome your fear of sell, how to do all that stuff. And so that's what we're talking about here. So I want to go to their website and I want to look at it. I want to look at their history. How long have they been in business? How did they get started? Did the current CEO buy the business? Did he build it from scratch? And I want to know all of that stuff. I want to look at their employees. I want to get to know them. I want to, what is it that they do? Is there anything that I could see on their website that they can make an improvement on? Now, I went to this one appointment, and I went to do my research, and a key page on their website had an error 404 message, which means the page is not working. Well, they didn't know about it, and so I brought it to their attention. So it gives you a lot of credibility. It sets you apart as a professional when you're showing up prepared to the appointment. So this is something else that I do to prepare. Next is I make a list of questions prior to going to the meeting. And so in my mind, I'm pre-playing the appointment. How do I want this appointment to go? What are the steps that I want this appointment to go through? And I'm going to get into 6 steps on how to run an appointment here in a minute. And it's the most powerful system I've ever learned. I wish I could take credit for it, but I hired a very expensive mentor in 2015, and he taught me this new process. I'm like, shit, man, I wish I would have had this for the last 22 years. But I'm going to share it with you today. So I'm going to make a list of questions. And I want to make a list of open-ended questions. Some of them could be closed-ended. I don't really care either way. I'm not looking to do manipulation here. I'm basically coming in, those people out there that want to do manipulation, that good for them. Me, I am in an appointment with the attitude of, I need to make sure that you're a fit for me and that I can honestly help you, and that I'm a fit for you and you want me to help you. And that's how I want the appointment to run. So I look at it this way. I put myself and say, okay, I have invested $100,000 into a business, and I'm going to interview this person, and I'm going to ask some questions to where I want to see if they're worthy of being a partner. So I go out with that attitude. I'm going to ask questions designed to give me enough information about them to see if they are a fit for me. Okay? Because if they're not a fit for me, I don't want them as a client. I'm done in life. At 48 years old, I'm over having clients I don't like and that I don't want to do business with. It's so much easier and a lot more profitable to go out and find clients that you absolutely click with and that you love, and not waste any time on clients that you don't want. That's why we dealt with lead generation first, and I gave you some sick content on how to never, ever, ever have an empty pipeline ever again. So you want to go back and listen to that. I gave you sick content on how to set appointments and convert those leads. And now we're going to go into, okay, how to wrap this up with how do we run this appointment? So I want to make a list of questions. Question could be, so you know what, Joe? I was on your website and I noticed that you have been in business. I'm just pulling something out of my ass here. I noticed that you've been in business for about 22 years. And I noticed that you actually started the company. And so I'm just curious, what's different in your business now? What are the business challenges that you have now versus the business challenges you had when you first started? Now, I could easily ask the question, hey, what are your business challenges right now? I could go that route. But I said, I want to tap into that emotional process there. Okay. What are the business problems that you have now versus the business problems you had back then? And I'm going to shut up and let him talk. And here's the key to an effective appointment. If you want to do about 10% of the talking and you want to have them talk about 90%, and that's why we're going to design our list of questions ahead of time. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. Here's your number one first homework assignment is, let me get the number here. Okay. I want you to, I'm going to figure out a way I'm going to do this. Come up with a list of questions that you, before your very next appointment, or just look at your sales overall. You look at your client process overall. And I want you to come up with 5 questions that you could ask pretty much in any given appointment. Okay. 5 questions that you can ask in any given appointment that you run. And then what I want you to do is I want you to email it to me. So don't text it to me. Email it to me and text me that you did this so I know to go and check the email. In this subject line, I want you to put my list of questions. Okay. And then I want you to email me, jpyron@johnpyron.com. So first initial last name, jpyron@johnpyron.com, and put my list of questions. Okay. And I'm only going to do that for the people that are on their live call today and listening to the recording this week, because this could get too overwhelming. But between now and Monday, I'm going to look at each one of those emails and I'm going to either call you or I'm going to give you some feedback on your questions to help you get at least your top 5 questions just sick. Okay. So you want to have 5 really good questions. What I'm after when I go into an appointment, just so we're clear, I want 10 questions. I want a smorgasbord to choose from. Okay. I want them to be nice, juicy, open-ended questions, ones that I can really probe into. Okay. And I'm going to get into how to do that here in a minute. So first thing in pre-prep, pre-appointment prep, draft your list of questions. What questions do you have? Maybe you saw something on the website. Maybe, there's a pain point. Like in my case, I'm a business coach. I'm a business consultant. I'm actually not even a business coach. I'm more appropriately a business doctor. Okay. So I'm not the coach. Okay. So what that means is it's like a doctor, right? You go to a doctor's office, the staff gives you a pre-diagnosis. The doctor comes in, asks you some very specific questions, takes your vitals, and then tells you what to do. And if you're smart, you'll do it. And if you don't, it's no skin off of his teeth. That would be a good translation to what I do in business, right? So when I go into a business, my number one question is like, hey, in order for me to help you, here's a really good setup for a question. Okay. And I'm recording this. I want you to go back and write this down. This is how I do it every time. I go, hey, in order for me to best help you today, Joe, I need to know where you're at, and I need to know where you're going. And then I need to reduce what's called reduce the risk for this person. And I need to say, the more honest you are with me today, Joe, the better I can help you. And then I give them a little bit more and I go, hey, and just so you're clear, every single thing that we talk about today is between you and me. All right, let me go back and repeat what I said. I go, Joe, in order for me to best help you today, I need to know where you're at and then where you want to go. The other thing I want you to know, Joe, is every single thing that we talk about today is between you and I. And more importantly, the more honest you are with me, the better I can help you. Are we clear? Great. I've designed a list of questions here that I would like to go through that'll help me get an understanding of what your current situation is to see if I can even help. Would you mind if I go through these questions? And he or she is going to say yes. And that's how I would tee that up. Okay. So I want to have these lists of questions. 3 more things I want to do before I go to the appointment. Number 1 is I want to look at the appointment. I want to imagine, okay, I'm running the appointment and the appointment starts and here we are at the very end. I want to know going into the appointment, what is my ultimate outcome for this appointment? What do I want to ultimately achieve in this appointment? And I want to have that clearly defined. So ultimate outcomes. Next, I want to know, okay, how I'm going to close. And so for those of you that have never been professionally trained in sales, I'm going to tell you this. On this hand, I have sales. Generate leads, market those leads, set appointments, run appointments. But when it comes to do a needs analysis, do my preparation for my proposal, that's sales. Closing is a whole different other skill, and the two are not the same. Okay, so I need to know how I'm going to close this deal. And if I had somebody tell me, you know what, John, I hate the word close. I hate the word closing. And you know what? I told that person, I said, and you know what? I hate being broke. That's what I told her. I hate closing, John. I'm like, well, I hate being broke, So if you can't close the deal, guess what? You don't have any predictability as far as your revenue is concerned. So if you got a resistance to closing, it's because you don't properly understand what closing means. Closing is not strong-arming somebody, okay? It's not manipulating somebody. It's not being forceful or pushing somebody into doing something they don't want to do. That's not closing, okay? That's called used car sales. Closing is a natural end to a very well thought out sales presentation. Closing should be so natural at the end that literally sometimes all I got to say is, hey, When do you want to get there? Oh, I want to get there tomorrow. Do you want me to help you? Yeah. Great. It's this much. Sign here. Okay, great. Done. It wasn't a strong arm close. It's when you don't follow a very well thought out sales process that you got to get all weird in the close. And I don't want you to have to get weird in the close. So I'm going to show you how to not do that. Last but not least, to prep for the appointment, I want to have somebody I can role play this with. And if I can't find somebody to role play this with, then I'm going to role play it with myself. I want to go through the appointment 100% before I get there. Now, the benefit of this is this. I never, ever, ever practice on my prospect. Like that $485,000 deal I closed last week for a client, I didn't just show up and wing it. I didn't just like show up and go, here I am. No, I went through this whole that's a lot of damn money. I went through this whole process, role played it many times. I knew exactly what I was going to, the questions I was going to ask. I knew exactly the objections they were going to give me. I knew exactly that I was going to be in the room with 3 other people and that I was going to be put on a hot seat. I knew exactly how I was going to close. And you know what? I closed it. Because I understand sales is different than closing. And I hope you got that message. Sales is different than closing. Okay. And so here's what I'm going to do. Okay. So for those of you that struggle with closing, let me actually make a note here. You want to send me a text. Okay. 916-741. What's that number? 0596. That goes to my Google Drive. Okay. So 916-741-0596. What I want you to put in the subject line is send me the closing material, put down closing materials. Okay, so closing materials in the subject line. You got to put your first and last name in there, and you need to put your email because I'm going to add you to, probably going to do this on Google Drive or Dropbox, but I'm going to create a whole folder for just closing. I want to put some really good training on how to actually close sales. Okay, so there's going to be some audio content in there, some webinars, a bunch of stuff I paid for and collected over the years. I'm just going to drop it in there and give it to you for free. Okay. So send me your name, first name, last name, and email address to 916-741-0596. Okay. So, but I want to role play it. Okay. So now I'm all prepped. I'm ready to go. Okay. So now I've got my appointment. I want to show up early. I want to show up at least 15 minutes early. I don't go in 15 minutes early. I just show up, make sure I'm at the right place, make sure I've got my clothes down, make sure I've got all my notes ready. I'm looking prim and proper. If your industry, if what you do for a living, if most people in your industry wear a shirt and tie, highly recommend you wear a shirt and tie, right? If people in your industry are in a logoed polo shirt, then I highly recommend you dress like that. You want to dress what is appropriate for the product and service that you're representing. Okay. Now, when you get to the point where you're making $1 billion a year, then you can dress like Steve Jobs. Okay. But until then, I want you to dress that part. So I want to show up and get prepared and be there. Now, when I walk in, there is a couple of things that need to happen. Number one is I want to say hi to the receptionist. If there's a receptionist, I want to acknowledge the staff. I want to ask them how their day is going. Okay. Because a lot of times when I leave that building, they're going to come up and say, hey, what do you think about that sales guy? What do you think about that guy that I just met with? The last thing you want is, well, he's a jerk. He didn't even say hi to me. He didn't say good morning. I really felt like he was rude. I mean, I've seen receptionists shut down deals quicker than they were closed because that person works there, that owner has a deep trust in that person, and that person is pretty much the pulse of anybody walking through that room. Okay. So you want to acknowledge everybody. So now we're at the table. You can't do a sales present unless your process is going through a PowerPoint, right? When I'm presenting the sales, I'm either going to be standing and presenting it with a PowerPoint, or I'm going to be sitting there with them. Now, what's important is I want to develop rapport with that person. And there's many different levels to rapport. Rapport means that we're connecting. Have you ever been in a situation where you're either talking to a friend, a relative, a colleague, a spouse, a client, whatever, and you don't feel like there's a connection, right? There's just not a connection there. Well, you got to check your rapport. And when I'm not in rapport with somebody, I'm looking at, okay, am I matching? Because communication is this. It's up if I'm selling to them, if I'm wanting to communicate to them, if I'm wanting to communicate to my kids, my spouse, my significant other, my mom, my dad, my relative, my friend, prospect, client, my employees, if I'm wanting to communicate to them, it's up to me to adapt my behavior to them, not them to me. So I need to look at, okay, is this person talking fast? Well, if that person's talking fast, I'm going to start talking fast. If I'm talking to somebody that is more of an S or an amiable or a C, maybe an analytical personality, I'm going to talk a little bit slower. I'm going to think about my words that come out of my mouth. I'm going to sit up straight. I'm going to mirror and match their body language. Okay. I'm going to mirror and match the tone of their voice. If they're sitting at a table like this, I'm going to sit at the table like this. If they lean back in their chair, at some point when I'm talking, I'm probably going to lean back too. If they start talking and then all of a sudden they cross their leg, I mean, I'm not going to just do it right after they do it. That would be kind of weird, right? But when it's my turn to talk, I may just lean back, cross my leg. And really the whole goal is I want them to feel comfortable. I want to connect with them. And we're talking about being on the same energy level. So when I'm on the same energy level, my mind's open to listening to what the other person is doing. And we've all been in that situation where we're talking to someone and we really, really feel that connection with that person. You ever feel that? You ever have that? And if you look back, it's probably because you were in rapport with that person. That person was looking you in the eye. They were matching your voice pace and the tone of your voice. They were repeating back to you what they thought they heard, right? And so rapport is very important. Another way to gain rapport really quickly is I went to their social network and I found that we have some people in common. So I might say, hey, I noticed that you and I both are connected to Jeff Stewart. Jeff's been a friend of mine since 1998. How do you know Jeff? And something as simple as that can put them in rapport like that. Rapport can take anywhere from 15 seconds to 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want to spend too much time here. But once I feel like I'm in rapport, now I want to go into my 6-step process. So step number 1 has to do with curiosity. And in the appointment setting process, if you recall what I taught on the last call, is I want to define what our agenda is for that appointment. And so I'm going to say, hey, Joe, I'm curious. When you and I were on the phone and we set this appointment, you wanted to talk about how I can help you with XYZ. Is that still the reason for us to get together today? And he or she's going to say yes. And I'm going to say, great. Is there anything that you've thought of between the time we talked last and now? Is there anything else that we need to add to our agenda today? Well, yeah, I want to talk about technology as well while you're here. Okay, great. Is there any, and I make a note. Is there anything else? No, I think that's great. Fantastic. I'm done with stage 1, which is curiosity. Okay. Stage 2, and here's where it's going to take some big kahunas. Okay. It's going to take some guts. Okay. But I can tell you right now, if you skip this step, and we've all done it, I do it sometimes even today, and it screws me every time. And it's a stage called significance, right? And I want to make sure that I'm dealing with the decision maker. And so I'll use a question like, hey, I know it's a bit early in the conversation, but assuming we work together, or maybe we won't work together. But when it comes time to make financial engagements and arrangements, how does that work here? Is the decision yours? Is there a committee involved? Is there another person? No, John, I'm the one that makes the decision. Okay, great. Then we move on. If that person comes back and says, well, how it works is I'm going to meet with you. We're going to go over this stuff. Then I need to take this back to my boss and go over it with him. And then we'll let you know if we're interested. How many times have you had that happen? Be honest. I know you have, because I've had it happen to me before. And here's why lead generation is important. Here's why appointment setting is important. When you got a big old fat pipeline of prospects, you're a lot more gutsy at this stage. When you've only got one or two prospects, and this is the third one, if I lose this one, I don't really have anything else to go on, right? You're going to be a wimp when it comes to this section. And so that's why it's important to have a big old fat pipeline. I don't need this person. And so if that person comes to me and says, hey, you know what, I'm not the final decision maker. Joe has to be here. I'm going to go, well, when I set the appointment with you, I thought I was clear. And you know what, I apologize. Maybe I explained it wrong, right? But I needed everybody who's involved in the decision-making process to be here. And so, is Joe in the building? Well, no, he's out of state. Okay. Well, here's what we need to do. Let's, do you have access to Joe's calendar? No, but you know what? Joe told me to sit down with you and go through it with you and to get back to him. He doesn't want to sit down with you until I've gone through it. And I'm like, you know what? I can appreciate that. Here's how I would respond if I have a fat pipeline. Now, keep in mind, if my pipeline's empty, I might not have the guts to do this. That's why it's important to keep your pipeline full. But I have a full pipeline. So I would basically say, you know what? I can appreciate where you're coming from. And I can understand why Joe decided to have you meet with me first, because he doesn't want to waste his time. Well, guess what? I don't want to waste mine either. And so how my process works to decide whether I want to work with you guys is I meet with all the decision makers in one meeting. And the basic reason I do that, Fred, is so I don't want you, Fred, to have to go through this again. Okay? Because before I decide to do business with you, or before I decide to allow you guys to become a client of mine, I am going to meet with Joe. And I don't want you to have to sit through this again. So is there a time where we can get together with Joe next week? And I shut it down right there. I don't go beyond that. Why? Because all I'm going to do is put out all my cards on the table, and I'm going to leave it up to Joe to go sell my product or service. And that is the weak way out. And too many people, and not you anymore, but too many people out there, they take the wimpy, the weak way out of this step right here. And they go, okay, well, let me present it to you. And, I'll get back to you. Right. And they go through the whole process and they go, okay, well, when's Joe coming back into town? Oh, Joe's coming back next week. Okay. Well, can I follow up with you on Thursday? Yeah, go ahead. And you leave your proposal there and you leave it up to that person to go and present on your behalf. Right. And you call up next week and go, well, I ran it by Joe, and, Joe basically said no. Joe says I need to go out and get another bid. How many of you had that happen to you? Yeah. So don't do that no more. So again, if all the decision makers are not in the room, you don't present. And the only way you're going to have the cojones to do this step, okay, is if you have a full pipeline. So keep your pipeline full is the message that I want to give you. Okay, now that we're done, now that Joe says, man, I'm the decision maker, no problem, hit me with what you got. Right? Now I'm going to go into the next step, which is I'm going to uncover what their frustration and struggle is. Because unless I can identify some pain, there is no sale. Okay, there's two reasons people buy. Number one is to solve a frustration, struggle, or pain that they have. Or they buy for pleasure. People make buying decisions for either one. But I've never seen somebody go out, well, I can't say that. Never seen somebody go out and use I don't have the money excuse to solve a pleasure purchase. No. They go in for the certain car and they walk out with a payment that's $150 more per month because they wanted the extra bells and whistles on the car. It wasn't that it was a pain purchase. It was a pleasure purpose. They went in like, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not paying no more than $250 a month, and I'm not putting more than this much down. And next thing you know, they walk out of there and they put twice the amount down and twice the car payment, and they're happier than shit. Why? Because they wanted it, right? But I have seen people go, oh my God, John, that's a lot of money, man. I'm like, yeah, but you have to do this. I know. God, I just don't know how I'm going to get the money for that. I'm like, well, if you don't do this, what's going to change? Yeah, you're right, man. I guess I could put it on a credit card, you know? And so people will find the money. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a situation where I told the person, hey, it's X amount of dollars. They're like, oh my God. It's like, River Coyote Design, Denise Pontier, River Coyote Design. I remember when I was working with her, she does graphic design, web design, okay, kind of marketing. And when we started working together, she was like, man, I got this big juicy prospect, right? And if you go up to my LinkedIn profile, you'll see what she wrote about it. I got this big juicy prospect, and oh my God, they want us to take over all the marketing. They want us to do this. They want us to do all the design and on and on. And so we role played it. We did all this stuff I'm talking about. We role played it. We get through it and we get down to the end. In the role play, she goes, well, they told me their budget's $10,000. And I said, really? I said, I don't care. I said, what do they need? After going through all the stuff that you went through, all the frustration and struggle, all the questions that you have, all the challenges and the problems that they had. After you've gone through all of that, what did they tell you was their biggest pain points? And she was able to tell me, and I said, okay, what's the business value to them if we solve those pain points? And hold on just a second. I gotta get this dog. See, that's what happens when the video crew doesn't show up. Okay, all right. So anyways, so I go, well, how much for the gold program? She goes, $14,850. She goes, but John, they're never going to buy it. They're never going to buy it, man. I mean, they said their budget's only $10,000. I said, should they buy that? Yes. I go, then let's go through how we're going to close this. 3 hours later, get a text. They bought it. Oh my God. They came up with the money, man. Because this stage right here is the most important stage in the whole process. So when I sit down with them, I remind them, hey, here's how stage 3 works. The frustration and struggle. I go, okay, all right, before I can know that I can help you get to where you want to go, I need to know where you're at. Okay. So, and again, I want to remind you, the more honest you are with me, the better I can help you. And I want you to know that every single thing you share with me today is between you and I. With that said, I designed a list of questions here ahead of time that will help me better understand your current situation. Do you mind if I go through them? And they go, yeah, great. And so I ask them questions. I say, hey, so what is the biggest frustration, struggle, or concern that you have? Now, if I know this ahead of time, I'm just going to dig deeper into that. So let me see. Let me pull something out of my ass here. So let's just say they say lead generation, right? Oh man, John, our biggest struggle is lead generation. Okay, so out of all the challenges, your biggest struggle is lead generation. Is that right? Great. Well, tell me more about that. So those are key words. Tell me more about that. Well, we've been in business for 5 years. We get organic referrals. We go to networking events. We get a couple of leads here or there, but we really don't have a consistent lead generation process in place. Really. Now, here's the key. I'm taking notes as they're talking on those key words. Okay. So when I ask a question, they're going to say, so tell me about, so lead generation is your struggle? Yeah. Tell me more about that. Well, we have organic referrals, we have networking events, sometimes a friend or a relative will refer people, but that's really the only lead generation that we have in place, John. And it's really inconsistent. Okay. So let me replay back to you. So I'm going to replay. I'm going to do what's called keyword backtracking. Okay. I'm going to replay back to them what I think they just heard. Okay. What I think they just said, right? And I'm going to say, okay, so let me make sure I'm clear. So your current lead generation is organic referrals. You go to networking events, and every now and then a friend or relative gives you a lead. Am I clear? Do I understand that? Yeah. And so how's that affecting you? So that's another key word there. How's that affecting you? Now, this 6-step process I have written down on a Word document, and I'm going to put that into the folder. When you text me, I'm going to put this 6-step document with all the key cool questions here. I'm going to put that in there for you. Okay. So I'm going to ask, okay, what would, tell me more about that. How's that affecting you? Okay. What's it like to have that? I want to get present with the pain. What don't you like about that? It's another really cool question. I want to dig deeper and get it emotional as I possibly can. Okay. So you have organic referrals. Every now and then you go to a networking event, and every now and then a friend and relatives. How's that affecting you? Oh man, we can't be consistent with our sales, man. We're not consistent with generating new business. Well, how's that affecting you? Oh man, I'm just sick and tired, John, of, 1 month we're up, the next month we're down, 1 month we're up, the next month we're down. Really? Now, I'm just curious, is that getting in the way of any personal goals that you've established? Yeah. So if I could actually solve that problem, what would that be worth to you? So if I could solve your lead generation problem, now this is a trial close. If I could solve this lead generation problem, what would that be worth to you? Well, I don't know. Well, pick a number. What would it be worth to you? God, I don't know, John, probably $10,000. Now I know I've got $10,000 that he's more than willing to pay for me to help him. Okay. So stage 3 is identifying, getting it to a point where you can identify that person's pain. Now, I'm going to write down all those keywords as I'm going through this stage. I'm going to say, so let me get this straight. Lead generation is your big problem. These are your current lead generation systems. And by not having this problem solved, it's causing this. And by not having this problem solved, it's causing this, and it's affecting this. And you may have to lay somebody off next week. Is that right? Okay. Am I clear on the problem? Yeah, great. If I was to solve this problem for you, what would it be worth? Oh, it'd be worth $10,000. Great, $10,000. Okay, great. All right. So I'm clear on the pain. Is there any other challenges that I missed here? No. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let's set this aside. Now, if you're watching the video, I'm going to go to my left. I'm going to say, let's set these challenges. It's a psychological thing here. Let's set these challenges to the side, and I go push to the left. And that mentally allows them to free that up. So let's push this off to the left. Okay. I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you some strategies to solve that pain. Okay. But for now, I want to talk about, where do you want to go? So stage 4, the next step is hope and freedom. Okay. I want to know where they want to go. What do they want? What are the opportunities here? What do they want to do as a business? Now, this process that I'm going through, this 6-step process, works great for if I'm selling to a service-based business. Okay. There's a whole nother process I would go through for a product-based business. But for the most part, most of the sales that I've done, even the one I did last week, follows this model right here. I don't try to solve the problem until I am 100% clear on what the problem is, how it's affecting them, who else it's affecting, how it's affecting their revenues, how it's affecting their client. I don't care how it's affecting the janitor. I want to know I want to take that problem and I want to get them extremely wrapped around the pain of that problem. Because when they get wrapped around the pain of that problem, now they want to solve the problem. Okay. So now I'm done with stage 3. I'm going into stage 4. So tell me about where you want to go. Well, we've been in business for, 5 years. We're doing about 800,000 a year, and we want to go to 1.5 and ultimately $5 million. Great. So why do you want to go to $5 million? Well, it's going to allow us to have a staff that, we'll have a management team that team will be able to run the company, and I'll be able to have the money and the time and the freedom to do what I want to do. Okay. So, and I'm making notes. All right. So let me get this clear. You're at 800,000. You want to go to 1.5, ultimately to 5 million. And the reason you want to go there is so you can have employees in the company. You can have a management team running the company, which is going to free you up to have your time and your money freedom. Is that correct? Am I clear so far? Yeah, great. So let's just say here we are a year from now, 2 years from now, and this is where you are, right? And you've accomplished all of this stuff. What's that like? You see, I'm going to ask that open-ended question. What's that like, man? What does accomplishing that do for you? So I'm going to paint the picture, right? Going through an appointment setting process like this is about painting that picture. What's that like for you? Put yourself there. Imagine that you've accomplished that. What is that like being there? Really? I'm going to write down. Okay, so you want to be here, 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 and here. And by accomplishing that, it's going to give you this, this, and this. Yeah, great. And you're telling me it's going to give you, the flexibility to spend time with your grandkids, your kids. You're going to be able to contribute to your parents' retirement. You're going to be able to do all this, and you don't have to worry about things because somebody else is running your company, right? Great, fantastic. So I'm clear. Great. So I'm just curious. Let's just say you got all the way there. Is there anything else that you want? No. I think that would be great. Okay, so let me make sure I'm clear on this, Joe. You ultimately want to go here, here, and here. You want to have a company that does this. It does this, 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 and this. It gives you the time, the freedom, and it gives you the peace and joy to know that you basically are set, right? And the only thing standing in your way, now here's where doing that pain part first works really well. So this is ultimately where you want to go. Now I'm going to transition into number 5. Okay. And stage number 5 is urgency. I want to make sure that he has an urgent desire to solve this problem. Okay. It's leading into my close, which is stage 6. So I'm going to verify that it's time to close. Okay. I'm going to transition. It's called a transition into the close. So how I transition into the close is I go, all right, so let me get clear. And this is even if I'm selling an IT project, right? I'm gonna say, okay, let me get this clear. So you ultimately want 2 servers. You want to be able to have all your employees to be able to call the help desk and somebody pick up the phone and troubleshoot their problem. You want somebody to come in and do the maintenance and make sure everything is patched and cleaned and ready to go. And you want to make sure that there's one throat to choke with all your technology needs. Is that correct? Am I clear? And by accomplishing that, these are the benefits that you're going to receive. Am I clear on that? Yeah. And by accomplishing these benefits, it's going to allow you to sleep at night because you're not going to have to worry about your data being lost, right? Yeah, great. Okay. And that's where you want to go, right? Okay. What's standing in your way is this. Okay. You have this challenge, lead generation, right? Now I'm going to get them back in the pain. Lead generation. You got this lead generation problem. You got this lead generation problem. You got this lead generation. You know what's interesting? This is where I'm going to seed some solutions in here, is I've got some resources that can help you solve this problem. Okay. In fact, I know 2 really good strategies that I'm going to actually just give you for free, whether we're doing a do business or not today. And I want you to implement them, and that's going to go a long way to helping you solve your lead generation problem. Is that something that you would want me to send you? And they're going to say yes. Okay. So these are the challenges getting in your way. And you mentioned that if I solve these problems, it'd be worth about $10,000, right? Okay, great. So this is where you want to go. This is the challenge that you want to get there. Let me ask you a question. How soon do you want to get there? And that's a transition statement, okay? Or you could say something like, when would you like this? Would you like to get started right now? Do you want me to help you, right? Okay, so let me ask you a question, Joe. You said you want to go here And I'm just curious, how soon do you want to get there? Well, I want to get there today. Great. Stage 5's done. He wants to go now. Okay. Or he might come back and say, you know what? I've got a lot on my plate right now. And I'd really like to get this dealt with. I just don't feel like the timing's right now. I got a choice. I can push the envelope here. You know, I can let somebody's going to get closed here. He's either going to close me on why he can't move forward right now. And in some cases it's valid, or I'm going to close him on why he needs to go forward right now. It really just depends. Like I'll give you a prime example. There's a client or prospect that I did a strategy session down in Stockton. And after going through all the pain and all the direction the dude wants to go, I'm like, oh my God, you first of all, I need you to get this fixed before I can even come in here and help. Right? Because I know you want to get here, but I'm not walking in this rat's nest right here. Okay. So I gave him a couple of strategies. I said, you need to work with your staff to get this cleaned up right here. And then we can probably work together. So I shut the deal down. I'm like, I'm not closing this guy. It's not ready to be closed, but we're actually going to start working together in September. So, but let's just say he's ready to get closed. Just say, okay, when do you want to do that? Great. Okay. So, so you want to move forward now? Great. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it away because I want to verify. I'm going to say, you know what? There's 4 things that I need to have in existence in order for me to work with somebody, because I don't just work with anybody. Number 1 is I got to like the person, and I got to like the team I'm going to work with. And after spending about a half hour, 45 minutes with you, I like you. Okay. Number 2 is I got to honestly believe I can help you. And if I don't honestly believe I can help you, I'm not going to, there's no reason to work together. And that's like a pet peeve of mine. It's like, if I can't see myself helping that person, I don't want them as a client. Okay. Number 3 is, you're coachable and you're willing to follow the directions and advice. Now that's if you're selling a product, a service, or whatever. And number 4 is you take action. Those are my qualifications for people that want to work with me. It's like, hey, you got to meet those 4 qualifications or we're not fit. Okay. So this is something you want to do. Yeah. Great. When do you want to do it? I want to do it now. Great. Okay. Now, if I know my price, because most depends on the product or service you're selling. Like in the deal I closed last week, that was a 3-appointment close. It took 3 appointments to get that closed because it's a big project, right? I had to go back and price that actually my client had to go back and price all that stuff, put together a proposal. I had to go back and present it. It had to go through committee. Then I had to go and do a full-blown presentation to the CEO and the board of directors. Okay, so it was a process to close that. But let's just say I can close it on this deal, right? So I'm either going to close the deal right now, or I'm going to close on the next appointment. Okay, either way, I'm going to close. All right, so let me get this straight. You want to go now? Okay, let me see. It's going to be about $9,000. Does that work for you? Oh, man, that's a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah. And on another call, 2 or 3 calls from now, we're going to talk about how to handle objections, but this is where you go to handle objections. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Sign here. Okay, yeah, you're right. Or I could say something like, well, if you don't do this, what are you going to do? Yeah, you're right. And they sign. Okay. So I'm going to close the deal. If I can't close the deal and I have to go back and get a proposal, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close on the next appointment. Okay. So you said you wanted this. These are the challenges. So here's what I'm going to do, Joe. I'm going to put together a proposal that is everything that you talked about. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my office. I'm going to get with my team and we're going to put together a very step-by-step proposal on how we're going to get there. And then I want to come back and present it to you and any other people that are involved in the decision-making process. But when I come back, everybody that's involved in the decision-making process has to be in that meeting or I'm not coming back. Now, again, if you have a pipeline, you can be that bold and aggressive. That's why you want to have a pipeline. Okay. So what's a good day next week or the week after, however long your process is to put together the proposals, what you want to say. Okay. So you schedule the appointment, you verify all the decision makers are going to be there. And then here's what I do. I go to my calendar, I create a calendar invite, I send them an invite. The day before I call. Okay. And the other thing I do is if it's a big deal, you will stand out, right? Is get yourself a little blank card, a little stack of blank cards and go, hey, it was great meeting you today. Really had an awesome time, talking with you, really getting a chance to understand your needs. Looking forward to going over the solutions and how we can work together. Sincerely, John Pyron. And I put it in an old-fashioned envelope and I mail it. And I handwrite the address on the front. Ask yourself this question. When's the last time you actually had a handwritten note sent to you in today's world? I can't think of a time this year that I've had a handwritten note that has come to my home office here. Okay. You're going to stand out amongst all the other competitors. Okay. It's like this deal in El Dorado Hills that I'm closing for another client. It's an $8,995 per month contract for 3 solid years. Okay. Way beyond my client's ability to do this. So I went and sat in front of the whole board and got drilled on a hot seat with all these questions because I'm very familiar with his business, and teed it all up at the end. We get an email. He gets an email this afternoon. He goes, hey, we're still looking into it. We had some people change over staff, and this will happen in your deal. I'm telling you, we had some people leave that were decision makers, and we got some new people coming on board. And so I told my client, I said, here's the email I want you to send them. Tell them, hey, we would be more than willing to sit down with the new board members and go over this again with them. Or if you prefer, we will be more than happy to come back out and go through the whole process again from scratch to make the new board members feel comfortable. Why? Because the competitors are not going to do that. Okay. But you, as a Rockland Chamber member, or somebody that's following me, whether you're on the podcast or you're on the live call, you're going to have this as a key thing in your feather and your cap going forward. You always look to set yourself apart. So anyways, this was a big call. Okay. But I'm telling you right now, this is a very important stage, is how to run an effective prospect appointment. So I hope you got a lot out of today's call. We are out of time. Otherwise, I would take some questions. But I want you to go out and listen to the recording, okay? I didn't have any questions, so here's what I'll do. Send me a text at that 916-741-0596, or you can send me an email at jpyron@johnpyron.com and give me your questions that you have. And then what I'm going to do between now and next Monday, I'm going to have my assistant Rachel put all these questions in a master question list, and I'm going to answer every single one of those questions, and I'll send it out to everyone. Okay, so I apologize for not getting to your questions, but this was such an important topic, and I want you to be highly prepared to handle appointments effectively and run them smooth. Go out and make it happen. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.